Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason and yes, I have moved my desk and well, you know what I'm going to say. It's that time of the month again. Let's just hit the music. So welcome to the April Roundup. If you've not been and seen one of my roundups before, then what we do is talk about what happened in the month, just to make sure you didn't miss anything that you might be interested in. And then we talk about what's coming up, and sometimes we throw in some news, some trivia, all sorts of things. You never know what's going to happen. Now, as you can see, we've got quite a lot to talk about in this month's roundup. So the big new thing that we had in March was Wooden Wednesday. Yeah, I know it's a bit of a strange name, but I really, you know, if you can come up with a better name, then by all means put it in the comments, but that was my best effort. But once a month, we are gonna just spend one day focused on wood model ship kits, maybe some wooden model trams that I've got, and bits and pieces like that. But everything that will happen on that Wednesday will be related to building wooden model kits. Now I know that's not for everyone, but the rest of the month is pretty much all plastic, and there is a fair bit of interest in the wood. So that's what we're going to do. It will sometimes feature some of my HMS fly build, which it did last month and will do again this month. And it'll also cover other things like tool reviews, how-tos, quick tips, book reviews, you name it. If it's related to wooden modelling, then it'll be on that day. So you're likely to get multiple videos on a Wooden Wednesday. I'm not going to definitely say you're always going to get 3 or you're even going to get always more than 1. It depends on what else is in there. But my HMS fly build sometimes will appear on a Saturday if it's a full hour video. So it all depends on where we are in the build, how much material I've got to share. But we will continue to do it in the episode numbers. So in the next episode this month, we're going to talk about Steelers, and that'll be episode 7, and then episode 8, if it's an hour long, could end up on a Saturday, if you get my drift. Anyway, there was a fair bit of love for Wooden Wednesday, so thank you very much. We've got another one coming this month, which has got a book review, a kit review, and we've got some more of HMS Fly. So quite a busy Wednesday in April. So we kicked off March with the first impressions video, the Hasegawa Warhawk in 148, a kit that's starting to show its age, I think, and it got a little bit of surface damage, having been in the box for quite some time. And you know, my stash has been moved around a bit, so I've moved it around, and other people that owned it before me have possibly moved it around. So it was just showing a bit of wear and tear. But actually, fundamentally, nothing particularly wrong with the kit. So quite a nice little mini project, I guess. Yeah, it wasn't a bad kit at all, really. Next in the line of first impressions was the Amati runabout on our first Wooden Wednesday. And what a beautiful kit that is. Huge kit, really, when you think about it, 110 scale. But as someone rightly said, once that's been built up and given some varnish and polished up, it will look stunning. It is a beautiful kit, and Amati do that type of thing really, really well. So yeah, there was a fair amount of love for that kit as well. So yeah, I have to agree, it's a beautiful kit, and you know, that could be the next wooden one, because it won't take too long to build actually. You've not got rigging, you've not got masts, you've not got spars, you've not got cannons. It's just build and go. So though it's quite big, it won't take long to build. So I think that could be quite a fun build, and who knows what the plan is. We're a long way off thinking about what follows HMS Fly, but a lovely kit, and you can see why it's in my stash. Staying with things that float was the USS Langley, America's first ever aircraft carrier. I think one of Trumpeter's finest 1350 scale kits, if I'm honest. I still think that their 1350 hood is the best 1350 model ship kit you can buy, but that Langley comes relatively close. The issue with it is all of that girder section that's actually solid plastic. So if you're not into building your photo etch, then you've got a lot of work to make that kit absolutely sing. But the hull detail was lovely, lots and lots of detail in there. For me, needs a few more aircraft, so that's on my agenda at some point. But yeah, what a lovely kit that was, and many of you agreed. Then in another first for March, we did a First Impressions double bill, and we went back in time to when I was a kid and revisited the late 70s, early 80s, and did a couple of Matchbox First Impressions. Now, as I'm guessing most of you should know, Matchbox no longer exists, but Revell did buy the tooling, so those kits have been released by Revell at some point, so look out for them if you're interested. So they're still relevant First Impressions because you can still buy them. In fact, Revell have recently re-released some of the 176 stuff as dioramas, your first diorama, and a little bit misleading maybe, but yeah, they're still good kits. And just to prove the point, we also had a build on a Saturday that was just a Matchbox kit, one of my favourite kits as a kid. Actually, one of my favourite armoured fighting vehicle kits of all time, simply because it's got a palm tree on it. What's not to like? But as you saw, it builds up really quite well. It was well designed at the time. For the scale, it's not too bad on the detail, but it's quite an atmospheric little build with that little diorama base and the guy with the giant spanner. But yeah, a lot of fun to be had in building one of those. Nice little weekend project. Then I think our next First Impressions was that JU-126, the 132 scale concept aircraft from Das Werk. And despite my reservations, having built their not so great U9 kit, actually lovely looking kit, and I've no doubt it'll fit together very well. It was nice and crisply molded. Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. So really nice detailed kit, lots of options. You had some build options with the engines, and then lots of paint options, and then we showed you the aftermarket stuff with the decals. It's not going to take up much space when it's built, but it's going to be quite an interesting little build and probably take a little bit longer than you might think. So for me, that redeemed itself a little bit, but I still don't get why there's no harnesses in there. That, for me, that was an omission, but a lovely little kit all in all. Then we ended the month on that ICM fire truck, which was a really nice kit actually, and as soon as that came out, I had my eye on it. It took me a little bit of time to get around to buying it. For me, slightly disappointing that there wasn't more interior detail in there, in the areas where there would have been perhaps some tools or something like that, but hey ho, the overall kit itself really nice and lends itself to some nice diorama options, something a little bit unusual, and it's red of course, and anything red looks brilliant on your display shelf. Then our first Saturday build was the Airfix 148 Tropical Hurricane, which has really gone together. Really nice kit. That is now finished, and actually the final instalment will be in April, so keep your eyes out for that. We'll be finishing off the paintwork and weathering it, and yeah, it looked really great when it was done. I was very happy with it, so we have the final part of that in April. So during March we had 2 build updates of the Queen Mary 2. Sometimes it can be really difficult and quite a close run thing whether we're going to get a video out on the Queen Mary 2 or not. There's quite a bit of material that gets condensed down to make that video, and sometimes I just haven't had enough time to have produced enough. So Stephen's videos balance that out a little bit. Now Stephen's been really busy with the submission of a design for what would be a replacement royal yacht in any other time, although my understanding is won't quite have the royal connection this time, but will fulfill the same role pretty much. So Stephen's really busy. However, that hasn't slowed me with my build because we've done a lot of upfront preparation over the last few months. So I'm managing to steam ahead. I am in another slow spot where we've got to deal with all these rooms and put flooring in and paint them up, and it's one of those parts of the build where I can show you what I'm doing in 10 minutes and then I've got hours and hours of work, and that doesn't make a great video. So I'm starting to jump around a little bit in that build just to have enough material to come out. But we've done quite a lot of super detailing of some of those aft decks, and they're really starting to look the part now. And when we go back and revisit them with etch railings and ladders and seating and people and that sort of stuff, it's really going to look the part, I think. So what we're doing is trying to get the sides in, get the upper deck on, get the main structures on, and then we can start going back from the top outwards and putting all that detail on. So it's slowly feeling like it's coming together. I'm still really enjoying it. It's still the principal build on the channel, and I'm still trying to get one out every couple of weeks. So have a look out on a Saturday with live chat. We do them as a premiere. It's nice to see some new faces bobbing along. Always good to talk to people. Don't be afraid to ask a question. We have some regulars in there that like to have a little bit of a laugh, and if nothing else, you find out what the weather's doing all over the world. So our Monday slot that we usually dedicate to a tool review or a quick tip got messed around with a little bit in March. So we had that Airfix Club review, and I was surprised actually at how many people found that of value and interest. And the point I was trying to get across was it's only, if you forget all the little falderel that comes with it, the poster and the key ring and stuff, it's only really worth doing if you think you're going to spend the money that it costs you to get into the club in kits and get that back with your discount. So you have to spend a fair amount to get that back. The flying hours is a nice to have, but to give you an example, if I wanted to get a 17-18 pound model kit, then I've got to have I think it's 16 flying hours to have collected, and that takes a little bit of time. So really the key thing with the Airfix Club is it's worth it to get the discount, but only if you can't get those kits cheaper online elsewhere anywhere, and only if you're likely to buy a fair number of Airfix kits. But for me, it's worth it because I don't just buy the Airfix kits, I buy the Humbrol paints and other Humbrol products as well. I'm quite a big fan of the Humbrol paints, both their acrylics and their enamels, so I like to use those, and so it's worth it for me because you get the 10% off that. But it isn't for everyone. But yeah, lots of you are interested. Just to confirm, there is rest of the world availability for that, certainly on the UK website, the main website. If you go there, you can buy Airfix Club for rest of the world, and that's digital, and it's a third of the price of the UK one, because you don't get the box of goodies, although you can buy it separately once you're a member of the Airfix Club from the club shop, is my understanding. So we did a first impressions, which was the Matchbox one on a Monday, and then we did a product review, and I think, I can't remember exactly, but I think it's the first time I've actually done a product review. I've generally left product to be seen in use in one of my builds, and that way you get an impression of how the product works and whether it's something you're interested in or not. And there's such a huge array of products out there that I think it's equally as big a minefield, if not a bigger minefield, than tools. So if you're new to the hobby, coming back to the hobby, you look at the vast array of stuff out there, and where do you begin? What's good, what's not good, what's worth having? And some of it is personal taste and the way you work, and some of it is just absolute garbage. And some of it is putting a lot of money onto an ordinary product and selling it as a modeller's thing. So we do try and cut through that. I am going to be doing some more product reviews, but what I might do is review products with a tip involved. So for example, I'm planning on doing weathering powders, and I'll show you a way of using weathering powders that isn't commonly used but actually really handy. So there's things like that coming. The short video on a Monday is definitely staying. March was it's the end of February as well. We did the Maritime Museum, didn't we, on that Monday slot? So we've had a little bit of period where we've done some different little bits and pieces that didn't really fit into the Saturday build, the Wednesday first impression. So Monday's a good catch-all for that, but we will be doing more tools and we will be doing more quick tips on those Mondays. So don't think they're gone, because they're not. So the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that my desk is in a different position. That's because we're now in spring and I've been really struggling with the sun. It's been streaming in through the windows, and I use my modelling desk as my working from home desk, and I've had some real issues with the screen. So we've moved the kitchen table around, and that's working better for me. So that's why things are looking a little bit different, but fundamentally everything else is the same. Now, at the end of this month, possibly the start of next month, I'm expecting my new hobby space to be delivered. If that turns up in April, we will be doing the largest modelling tool review you've ever seen. It's probably going to be over several videos. So that'll be a whole load of videos around this one thing. So we're going to completely transform this, but the space solution that I have purchased comes from the States. It's handmade in the States and then has to be shipped over and then sent to me. So I'm looking forward to that. You might see that in April. You might see it in May. We might see it in June. Yeah, it's a very long lead time item. I bought it in December. Okay, so that's coming up, and when that lands, we will get stuck into it, and I will look like Nigel did when a great big Lancaster bomber turned up in his desk. So I'm really looking forward to this. It will be good. Okay, what else is happening in April? Well, there will be more Queen Mary 2. We're progressing that build at a pace. So we've got more wood decks to go. We've got more stern decks to go. And we've got all those windows to put in. And hoping we'll get to the top deck during April, but we will see. You will see possibly a one-off just for fun build that could be coming along in April. I'm not 100% sure. It's a build I actually did over Christmas, and the idea was to bank it so that when I needed a build, because maybe we hadn't got enough material for Queen Mary 2, for example, we could put that in and still have something to fill the Saturday slot. But I might just squeeze it in April to give me some space with our build that replaces the Hurricane. So as I've said, we're going to complete the Hurricane in April, and after the Hurricane comes our tank diorama, 80th anniversary of the Tiger tank, which I have actually started. You can see we have the tank underway, and I'm not going to give anything away about this build, but okay, probably given too much away already. But there you have it. That's our Ryefield tank on the go, and we also have some of our diorama parts built up. So that's the first bit, the barn, one of two buildings. So we will be seeing that come together and kicking off the build proper during the course of April. So look out for that. Again, it will be on a Saturday at 9 p.m. UK time as a premiere with live chat. So please do come along. You can ask any questions about the build and see the bits and pieces that I've got some commentary on. So other stuff that we've got coming up in April, you've got the 148 Hunter first impressions video. You've got a quick tip on removing gluey fingerprints. We've got that first impressions review that we talked about in the last roundup, the Atlantic Models HMS Consort kit. Beautiful, beautiful kit. Don't miss that first impressions. And that's going out on a very historic day for that ship, so there'll be a little bit of history with it as well. And then we also have that really large 1/24 scale car door aircraft kit going out. It's a whopping big kit, so that's a really interesting first impressions as well. And I also have a little Polish tank, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a minute or two. So this is the point in the roundup where I usually talk about what I'm about to start filming. As you can see, all this stuff behind me. But what I want to do is take you through some stash ads. So this month I bought one or two kits. The reason being, some of us in the world of YouTube creators decided to start buying some Ukrainian kits so that there is some back orders for our Ukrainian modelling companies when they manage to get back to normal. I think Nigel's modelling bench probably started that, but I know one or two people have been doing it. I certainly have. So I've got some stash ads to share with you, so let's have a look at those. So my first one is this tractor. Now I've had my eyes on the tractors for a little while and ummed and ahed about them, but there's something was strangely drawing me in, and then Rims Models did one and it looked absolutely stunning. So I had a look at the tractors, and I love this one with the steel wheels. I just thought that looked so different. And actually, it's a 1938 German tractor, so it's got some diorama potential. But it actually looks sort of 1918, 1920s to me. So I think that's a stunning looking kit. And actually not too complex, given that it's a mini art kit. That's probably a decent weekend project, that. Really nice little kit. So that was the first one we put in the stash. So the next thing that I put in the stash was this. So this is an old Soviet piece of kit being used by the Ukrainian army. It's a mine roller. So a BML-1. Absolutely full to the brim. This is quite a big kit all in all, and I got some Ukrainian tank figures to go with it, so they're at rest. So my plan is to build it not as a diorama but with the figures on top of it, I guess. But yeah, you get some nice options including UN markings and more recent markings. So something a bit unusual. Those of you that have been following the channel for a while know that I like the unusual. That I think is definitely unusual looking, so that went in the stash this month too. And I added this. Now, there's a number of these Austin armoured cars around. This one has the full interior kit. It's the 1918 British Army version. I had and ahed about one or two of them, and I know a few people have bought these recently and been showing them on their channels. The kit itself looks absolutely lovely. I'd recently watched a video about a real one from, I think it was Bovington Tank Museum, and they were explaining some of the bits that were missing, and they are included in this kit, so that's really nice. Now, so this British version has some potential to do something in Ireland as well as just the First World War trenches. It was used quite a lot in peacekeeping and crowd control type roles, as well as in military roles. So there's actually, with a bit of research, there's lots and lots and lots that could be done with this, but stunning looking kit. And there is a lovely paint option with a splinter pattern on it. And I've got to say, I quite fancy that. When it comes to what I'm filming as first impressions to be shared in May and early June, we have a number of things on the go. I'm definitely going to do a first impressions of that tractor, because it's feeling like this might be a nice little palette cleanser with the diorama and Queen Mary 2. I might want to have a switch off at some point in the next 4 to 6 weeks and just do something completely different. And this is a nice little size to do. So I want to get a first impressions video out of that and have a good look at it. So expect to see that coming along soon. We're also going to be having a look at this. This is one of Takom's new ship kit releases. Now, I bought this from a company in the UK. I'm not going to mention them because I fell out with them, and I won't be buying from them again. But they'd advertised this as 1350, and to be honest, I hadn't done my research, so I didn't realise that that was a typo. So I was expecting something a little bigger than this. It's 1/700 scale as it happens. But nonetheless, it's Takom's new range of kits. They're brand new in the market. They're working with these people who are really, really detail focused. So I'm expecting it to be a nice little kit. We will have a look at it. I don't know if I'm ever going to build this. This could end up being a giveaway or something, because I'm not sure I want to do 1/700 anymore. Yeah, this could be something we give away at some point. I'm not sure, but we will do a first impressions video of it. So we'll be opening the bags and bits and pieces. But yeah, it should be a nice kit. We had a look at their German ship a little while ago, and it wasn't too bad at all. I'd be interested to see if we get all of those torpedo netting poles and bits and pieces like that, and have we got railings and stuff. So yeah, could be a really interesting video, because Takom are clearly making a bid to get into the ship market that other manufacturers say is dead. So we talked about this as a stash ad last month, and I'm absolutely going to do a first impressions review of this. I'm looking forward to just leafing through all the plastic, to be honest. What you actually get in this is several kits brought together. So you get the Panther 4 tank with the full interior kit, which is a standalone kit in its own right. The base is off their country road diorama set, so usually comes with a wall, and it's one of their earlier sets, I think, and they've cleverly found a way of reusing this part in this diorama, and they utilize the flat bit where the wall goes for the track for this. Now that in itself is a standalone kit, and the workmen there are a standalone kit, and you get some of the parts and not all of the parts that would be in those kits. So you're ending up with 4 different bits of kit coming together to make one, well, big set, as they say. So This is absolutely rammed to the top with plastic. The box is absolutely rammed. So, and a big set of instructions, and it's really quite heavy. So looking forward to leafing through that. This will be one where, first impressions video, where you need to make yourself a cup of coffee and a bacon butty, because this is going to be a big video. Now, as Wood Wednesday comes along, we will be reviewing this. This is the Revenge. Now, I know that some model companies have this out as a wooden ship kit and they call it HMS Revenge. And that is wrong, because at this point in time, they weren't using the HMS. So it should quite accurately be called just Revenge. That was the name of the ship. Now, this is Ockrey. We have reviewed an Ockrey product before, the tram, the Berlin tram that we reviewed last year. So in terms of model ship kits, they're relatively new into the business, 4 years maybe, 5 years maybe, and they've come at it at a slightly different angle to some of the more traditional people. So some of this decoration, for example, is actually paper that you glue on and varnish over, which is how they work with the trams, but you've not seen before with model ship kits particularly. So yeah, and as you can see, we get lots and lots of parts with it. So this is a big old heavy box, and that'll be one of our Wood Wednesday reviews, and I'll be filming it this month. A Tudor little ship, very colourful, and I think should be a really nice build. In terms of aircraft, we're going to have a look at this, the Airfix Martin Marauder. I've not looked inside this kit as yet. I bought it because I've not got one of these aircraft, but look at the artwork on that. That looks really cool. So that'll be the one we're doing, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, it's a little level 2 kit, 1/72 scale, won't be massive, should be a nice little build, but let's have a look at it and see what we think. And then finally, we will be doing this, and this will be another double bill. So these are two Mini Art Diorama series sets. So you get the Norman Street, which comes with a section of street and two buildings, and in the case of the Gastoff, it's just the building, no base. Now, these are buildings that I've bought amongst some other buildings, quite a lot of figures, to do a large street scene to put the Famo tank transporter on, along with the Polish tank that you're going to see a first impressions review. So I have a photograph of a Famo tank transporter in a street, I think in France actually, and it's along the street, and it's a beautiful photograph, and that's inspired me to do a diorama, and I'm in the final stages of planning that diorama. It's probably going to be late this year build, possibly even slipping into early next year, but we're doing the planning now. I've got all the parts to it. So we've got the Famo tank transporter that we've already reviewed. We've got some buildings, we've got some street section, we've got a mould to make more street sections, which we'll be having a look at some point. Got a load of figures, and then we've got vehicles, both military and civilian, and we're going to make a whole colourful street scene set just at the start of the war in Germany, and the Famo tank transporter is bringing back a captured Polish tank to have a look at, to review, and just happened to have parked up in this German street while they nip in and get some tobacco from the tobacconist or something like that. That'll be the story. That's what's coming. It will be huge. It's going to be the length of one of those shelves, because actually it's one of those shelves I'm going to use as the base. So the idea will be we can build the whole diorama on the shelf and then just fit the shelf on the wall, job done. So that's the plan. We will review these because we've not reviewed any buildings seriously as yet. And if you've not seen how to go around building these dioramas, there's a little bit of a knack to them. So do catch the 80th anniversary of the Tiger builds, because we'll be using the Mini Art vact form buildings in there and their diorama bases. So at the end of the video, if you let it play out, I'll have a list of what I'm building, what's coming up next, so you can just pause that and take a look at what we're building. So I think that is it for now. We've got lots that we're doing in April, as you can see. And don't forget, on a Saturday at 9 p.m. UK time, we have our builds are all premieres, and you can come, hit the little live chat button. If you can't see the live chat button, hit the little arrow underneath the video, which gives you some more options. Hit live chat and you'll get a little chat pane that will come up either underneath or on the side. Depends on how you're viewing it and what you're viewing it on. But find that live chat. I'm always there. Come and say hello. And if you've got any questions during the video, you're welcome to ask. Quite honestly, I'll talk about anything, and we often do. So it's always a good way of spending an hour. And if you've missed what happened in the video because we got too busy chatting, just go back and watch the video again. Don't forget to hit the like and leave a comment. And yeah, thank you all so much for continuing to support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. It motivates me to do more of this and build more stuff, and there is so much more coming. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon.